This football season, Regions doesn't want anything to get between you and the game you love, especially not a lost or stolen card. Lock It lets you lock your card before you even report the problem. Plus, with Lock It, you can use your Regions mobile app to customize your card protection for a little extra game day peace of mind. Because we get it. Some things are bigger than banking. Learn more at regions.com/lockit. Regions, member FDIC, data fees may apply.
Hey guys, Golick here. We want to thank Allstate for teaming up with the Golick and Wingo podcast this season. Allstate is also teaming up with fans across the country to let them know about the magic of mayhem. Mayhem during college football season is inevitable, be it good or bad. Whether it's a backup quarterback leading his team to a second-half comeback in the national championship game or the countless number of rivalries across the country, mayhem will definitely leave its mark. Simply put, mayhem in college football cannot be stopped. Unfortunately, it's not confined to the stadium. Fender benders on the way home, popped tires, cracked windshields, mayhem is everywhere. That's why I'm here to remind you that in those crazy moments off the field, Allstate is here to help. Leave it to me to cover the mayhem in the game, but stick with the experts at Allstate to cover the mayhem off the field. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. For expert advice, call your local agent today.
Yeah, time to go back to work. Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Golick and Wingo. Glad you're with us. Hope your Thanksgiving break, if you had one, was fantastic. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Our phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golick Jr., Trey Wingo here with you. Boys, before we go anywhere else, before we move on to what's ahead, how nervous was the Golick household Saturday night as the Fighting Irish were clinging to life against USC?
Wow, that was, after watching Ohio State just absolutely dismantle Michigan, I thought, well, okay, there's the chaos we got. We'll keep everything now. Notre Dame will win by 20-some tonight and just kind of glide right on into the playoffs. USC 10-0 over Notre Dame. I'm like, okay, I'm going back to your senior year when you and Jake were on the team in 2012, when you had to play SC, you were number one in the country, you had to win the game to go to the BCS championship game. It's not like you blew them out in that game, but you were always kind of in control of it. You kicked too many field goals instead of touchdowns, but you were always ahead in that game, so you were always kind of in control. This one was a little nerve-wracking. USC comes out with that short passing game. Notre Dame didn't adjust till the second half of that. And they have some athletes on that team, even though they don't have a very good record this year. Yeah, and Notre Dame, without a doubt, was flat. I got a little nervous in that one.
Never any doubt.
Yeah, okay.
Never any doubt.
I have the Twitter receipts to show otherwise.
Yeah. So maybe there was a little doubt for a while. But no, you know what? It was one of those games where they came out a little bit flat, and USC played like we always hear this, that a team has nothing to lose and they should go out there and play like that.
Yep.
That truly was Southern Cal. And in the beginning, they had a very specific game plan they tried to execute, and their defense threw the entire kitchen sink at Notre Dame. And give them credit. They were able to absorb that, find a way to win. Wasn't Ian Book's best night by any stretch, but he still made some otherworldly plays to help lift them in that game. And now we're 12-0. We're going to the playoffs, and all you conference chumps get to sweat it out for another week.
Go ahead and play another game. We don't have to. I love it. Jeff tweeted 7 hours ago, you'll get your butts handed to you in the playoffs. Can't wait to shut your Irish fans up. It's okay, Jeff, because you know who we are. We're the playoffs. We're the playoffs. I don't know what team you follow. It better be either Clemson or Alabama or we don't know else who the other team may be.
Oklahoma
State. Because if not, your team ain't in it.
Nope.
We're in it, Jeff. Are you in it? Okay, we get beat. You know what? You can't win the championship if you're not in the Final Four. Notre Dame's in the Final Four.
And that's why we are
the pettiest show in America.
So we'll get to them.
Yeah, we will.
The craziness. We wanted a little chaos. We got a little chaos now for college football. We'll get into that a little bit later. We got a lot to get to on a big Monday. Jonathan Vilma will join us a little bit later, as will Jason Witten, Jeff Saturday, and DJ Shefty. Chef Adam Schefter will also be here as well. And the college football thing is interesting because we got what we wanted: uncertainty and a lot of potential paths for certain teams, which is really good.
And we want to play along with that in about an hour.
Yes.
Y'all are going to get a chance to join in because we got something big planned for you out there, and we're going to kick that thing off in about an hour. You are going to dig it.
Yeah, and let's just say, when we go in hard.
Yeah.
We go in hard. Just so you know, we're not putting our toe in the water.
No, we're not.
We are swimming in the deep end of the pool, and we are inviting you to swim with us.
There you go.
Anytime there are donuts outside the studio, you know something good is about to happen for you.
Hold on. anytime there are donuts at the studio, it's a day that ends in Y.
That's true.
Here,
Good
okay?
point.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there are more donuts out there today than normal. So that might mean there's something
These
good
are
for
different
somebody.
donuts. These are executive donuts.
Yeah,
they are
from upstairs.
That is fair. These are executive donuts, and when we have executive donuts, that can only mean one thing: good news for the listeners and good news for the viewers. Golic and Wingo, presented by Progressive Insurance, protecting commercial vehicles and offering specialized coverage designed to protect small business. More at progressivecommercial.com. Well, it was a very interesting Week 12 in the NFL because I think we got a little more clarity. There's still a lot up in the air as we head down to the final 4 weeks of the regular season after the Monday night game tonight between the Texans, who are going for 8 straight, and the Titans, who are trying to figure out who the hell they are, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But we had a Sunday night game that might have gone a long way in deciding where one team might be going and where one team might not be going. The Vikings won 24-17. They really pulled away with a big third quarter over the Green Bay Packers. And once again, Mike, we find ourselves grasping for this one question. Why can't the Packers win on the road? They fall to 0-6 on the road this season.
Not a great game for Aaron Rodgers. You are starting 2 rookie wide receivers.
Equanimous St. Brown, baby.
Yeah. And you do have the young running back who I think has done a nice job in trying to get their running game going. We know they've been nicked up on defense a little bit as well, but we keep talking about this year after year. Are we wasting Aaron Rodgers, years? Are we wasting his years? What's the relationship with he and Mike McCarthy? And it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Aaron Rodgers, wow, you could sit in 19 touchdowns and 1 interception. He does Aaron Rodgers things, but he hasn't been the Aaron Rodgers that we are used to seeing as well. You want to say it's lingering from the knee injury. He says that's fine. I don't know what it is, but they don't look like that team. And it's going to be another year where we say, oh, well, another year, Aaron Rodgers at, still playing at some peak ways right now, and they're not able to back it up anywhere else.
The one thing I do push back on a bit is the road record, because the road record is also about, home and road splits I buy into a little less than the idea of who you're playing in those. And you play a Washington team in the beginning of the season that was a lot better and a lot healthier than they are now, obviously. The Lions loss is weird and inexplicable, but the Lions are a weird and inexplicable team. Other than that, the teams you've played on the road, the Rams, the Patriots, the Seahawks, and the Vikings. And that was the Seahawks team that's been better in this second portion of the season than it is now, in a Vikings team we thought was going to be the best in this division to start the year to begin with. So their road schedule has been much more daunting, but it ends up being ultimately about the relationship between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers down the road as they try and see what decision they're going to make with the guy that they backed up the Brinks truck for already.
Yeah, and look, look, every team gets injured, but I mean, he's playing 2 rookie wide receivers. He hasn't had Randall Cobb there for most of the year. Jimmy Graham was not there again last night.
He was out.
Well, he was there.
He
but
he had a couple receptions, but he
wasn't there
the
with
game,
the splint on his thumb. So, I mean, to me, there's a lot of injuries that have gone around this. But you're right. The bigger question now is, are the Packers, Aaron's 34, right? He just signed that 5-year or 6-year extension, whatever it was. So the Packers believe he has at least 5 more great years left in him. The question is, are we watching yet another season with Aaron Rodgers in his peak just melting away?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely frustrating. Obviously got a lot more gray in the beard than I did a few years ago. So I know that football mortality catches up to everybody, and you never want to lose a season, especially when you felt great, starting the season out about our prospects. But we're going to battle the next 5 weeks and put ourselves in a position to be in the conversation, and hopefully it'll be enough. And like I've always said, you just got to get in. So we got to win these 5, see what happens.
They do essentially have to run the table. And by the way, Aaron, when you're talking about gray in your beard, hold my beer.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Go ahead.
The last time his completion percentage was lower than what it is now. It's under 62%. Was back in 2015 when it was 60%. Right now it's 61.8. But that year, he still threw 31 touchdowns. It had 8 interceptions. Got 19 touchdowns this year. It certainly can get to that mark. Just the 1 interception. So he's not turning the ball over, but he's getting pressure on him. We keep talking about that O-line, Mike. We think it's going to be a pretty good O-line for run blocking and for protecting Aaron. He gets sacked 4 times. People are starting to say, is he holding on to the ball a little too long to try and make plays? Is he not able to move as much because there is lingering with the knee, which he's not going to admit to? Whatever the reason is going to be, he's getting hit more than he has.
Well, that line last night was also, you talk about injury. David Bakhtiari was off the field for a significant amount of time in the second half. Some of their guards had to rotate. I think it's Justin McCray. I know he had a brother, but I think Justin McCray, one of their backup guards, was in there as well. So that's been a unit that, when it's healthy, is one of the better ones in there. And Aaron's not without blame here. But the problem is the way we're judging Aaron is based off a standard that no one else but he can live up to. Like, when we talk about, Trey, when you said it there, the Packers are expecting 5 more great years out of Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, how do you address the fact that it's 5 more great years by quarterback standards, but is it going to be 5 more years of Aaron Rodgers essentially being perfect? Because that's what he's had to be for the last few years for them to have a fighting chance, and that's not fair to him.
No, it isn't. And I think to the point, Senior, you made about the completion percentage, I think that goes to so many of his receivers being in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, Randall Cobb was again out last night. Devontae has been in and out of the lineup the entire season. He was back in last night. But you're right. The question then becomes, are they doing enough? And this was the problem that a lot of people had with Ted Thompson when he was the general manager. Are they surrounding him with enough talent? Listen, we know Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. If they don't win 5 straight, which is essentially what they have to do to think about getting to the playoffs, do we think Mike McCarthy might be going somewhere?
I'd have to imagine at this point, and we're looking around the NFL right now and kind of seeing these other, I think we're going to get to some of the sound from Baker Mayfield before, but
we will get to that.
I think that's sort of enlightening, though, on how important these relationships can be. And at this point, when you're the Packers and you're searching for what can we make different, Aaron Rodgers is going to stay the same. He is going to be a part of that. And as you say, how do we maximize all of this money we've spent? If one of those ways, and it's not laying all the blame at Mike McCarthy's feet and saying that all of this is his fault and he has solely wasted Aaron Rodgers' time, but it's, man, if we have a chance to upgrade and make our quarterback, the guy that we know is the foundation of our team, more comfortable, why wouldn't we do that?
You know,
everything you've done up until now has been about taking away the quarterback's coach that he liked, taking away Jordy Nelson and wide receiver. All of it has been antagonistic towards Aaron Rodgers. Why not do a thing that actually benefits him?
You're right. They would, but to your point, that hasn't been what they've been doing going forward.
No.
And we had him on the show, Mike, at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he sort of laid that out.
At some point, they're just going to have to look above, the people above Mike McCarthy are just going to have to say, listen, we have X amount of years left with Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
This isn't working.
Right.
This isn't whether, and you know what? Some of the blame can go to them as well for the people that they're drafting and putting on the field. But at some point, you can't continue to waste these years. You're going to have to, I think you're going to have to go in another direction with a head coach and at least try the last, half a decade of Aaron Rodgers' career with somebody else. It'll be a roll of the dice because you know what you have here, but you're going to say we had the potential every year to do it, but we're not getting it done. So I would not be shocked at all if there's going to be a switch made.
Well, look, the last time they started 0-6 on the road was 1979. They started 0-7 and finished 5-11. So that's sort of I understand what you're saying. It's about who you play, but at the end of the day, you got to find a way to win a couple of these games. And then Aaron Rodgers basically laid it out. Here's what has to happen.
Well, I mean, we are where we're at right now. Record-wise, we're going to need some help from some teams, and then we got to take care of our own business. We're going to have to find a way to win a game on the road. We're 0-6 on the road, so we just got to go back home, get some rest, beat Arizona, and then come back and beat Atlanta, and go to Chicago, a place we've won a number of times, beat them, go to New York around Christmas, beat them, and come home against Detroit, beat them, get a little help.
We buying that that's going to happen?
Oh, no, I don't think that's going to happen. And you sit there and you hang on because you look back in 2016, they go to the playoffs, they win 2 games before they lose to Atlanta. 2015, they win a game in the postseason before they lose to Arizona. Obviously, it didn't happen last year. I think what 9 losses, I believe.
Aaron Rodgers out for most of the season with that broken
exactly.
collarbone.
So when he's in there, you see him get to the playoffs, you see him get to a certain point and then fall behind. And I really just think at some point they're just going to say, we can't keep going with this. Before we know it, Aaron Rodgers is going to retire, and 5 years later be in the Hall of Fame, and we're going to have nothing to show for it. So we're going to have to make some sort of move.
I mean, you know what happens when you keep settling for the same for same's sake is you end up like Cincinnati. Like you end up with the Marvin Lewis-led Bengals who have a better ceiling because your quarterback is better than Andy Dalton, but everything else around it wise, when you just say, well, why are we going to make a change for change's sake, you end up as the Bengals.
Correct. At this point, you look, at the end of the day, you have one of the top, however you want to slice it, top 4 quarterbacks in football. And you owe it to yourself, your organization, and your fans to do whatever you can to give him the weapons around him to give your team a best chance to go out there and win. By the way, before we move on from this game, we should congratulate the Vikings.
I was just going to say, we should go to the other side of this, the Minnesota Vikings, who are staying close to the Chicago Bears. You get a great night out of Kirk Cousins. Throws for 342, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Adam Thielen, again, you had him in your DraftKings, didn't you? Yeah, put you up to first place so far. I'll pass you tonight. I have DeAndre Hopkins.
I have DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you do? That's pretty
good. They're going to lose the Titans
But
tonight.
Thielen, a huge night, 125 yards. But, yeah, big night for them. And Cousins. So, yeah, got to give them a little some love. And they're setting up for that last game against Chicago,
Yep.
last game of the season. But I will say, as they sit there, at 6-4-1, Chicago's 8-3. Their next 2 games, Minnesota, at New England, at Seattle. And while, listen, New England doesn't look like the team we're used to seeing, it's still New England, and Seattle still is playing some ball. What a game they were in yesterday with Carolina. But those 2 games for Minnesota, both on the road, a tough next couple for them. But good one last night, though.
You could make a very compelling argument. This is Pete Carroll's best coaching job in Seattle with what he's done and
the changeover that they've had. Yeah,
and
Brian Schottenheimer on offense too.
Yep.
That offensive unit, the recommitment and dedication to that offensive line and run game, it's been stellar.
It was. So congratulations to the Vikings, and we'll see what happens with them going forward. Again, Seattle. We can talk about Carolina at some point. What happened to them?
Yeah.
3 straight losses in all kinds of ridiculous ways. We'll get into that. Golic and Wingo reminding you that Amazon's Cyber Monday week is on now. With deals in every department, low prices, and free shipping on millions of items, shop now on Amazon. So you're going to shop on Amazon for all your gifts, but let's be honest. The gift that we got yesterday was Broncos defensive lineman Shelby Harris.
Without question.
Unbelievable finish to the game. It was 24-17, Denver clinging to that lead. Ben and company, I think it was 3rd and goal or 2nd and goal with under a minute to play. And Ben drops back inside the 5-yard line and throws a pass that's intercepted by Shelby Harris, basically a nose tackle for the Denver Broncos. And let's just say Ben was as shocked as anybody that Shelby Harris picked it off.
Ben, did you not see 96? Is that what you're saying?
On the last one? Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, he's not dropping. He got blocked. He got blocked right into the play, so there's no way to ever think that guy's going to make that play. And of all the interceptions I've thrown, that's one of the most fluky I've ever been associated with.
I'm trying so hard to sell this thing as Shelby Harris. I had 3 interceptions in my career from the defensive tackle, and I dropped off into those. I was in coverage, hold the lineman, and then drop into coverage. I was trying so hard to say, yeah, that's what Shelby Harris was doing.
No.
He was dropping into coverage. That's what he was doing. They called the perfect defense for, it was going to be a quick pass over the middle, and there he was. Unfortunately, I can't even sell it because the guy who intercepted the ball doesn't even sell it like that.
No, here's the worst part for Ben. If Shelby Harrison picked that ball up, Bradley Roby was going to pick that ball up. That play was not there to be made. But as you said, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that we found out Sunday that we needed more in our lives of was Shelby Harris. Here is Shelby Harris talking about his interception.
Well, I actually didn't do what I was supposed to do, but it ended up working out pretty well. But during the play, honestly, I didn't know what he was trying to do. It looked like it was supposed to be a run, and he decided to pull it and just throw it. Like everyone does the RPO thing now. But honestly, I just saw him try to float it up there, and just caught it, and I was like, should I try to return it? No, I'm a little too tired for that, so I just dropped to the ground and just laid there. But when I was laying there, I didn't even think about it because I knew how much time was on the clock, but at the moment you don't really think about it. And it's just like, wow, that's the game.
So on behalf of all of us that rely on radio content, Ben Roethlisberger, thank you for introducing us to Shelby Harris.
Dude didn't even really come off the ball at all. And then Pouncey kind of blocks him into the end zone and he just dropped,
How do you of all people not have some sympathy for this guy who John Madden so many years ago, Mike Golic, he's just standing there making a play.
I love it. I said I was trying to find a way to sell it like this is what he was supposed to do, but when he admits that it wasn't what he was supposed to do, what can I do?
I think it's even more impressive this way. He wasn't supposed to be in that situation, but he saw ball, he went up and he got ball, and it takes a dynamic athlete to be able to adjust on the fly and make a play like that. So Shelby, I'm with you, man.
We're riding with him.
Here's the downside of it. In his play sheet and his grade sheet, he'll get a minus for the play, but obviously he'll get big play money if they do that still. I have no idea. Coming up with the biggest play of the game, obviously, at that point.
Well, obviously, I didn't do what I meant to do. So we could listen to him talk all day. Shelby Harris was in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Oh, and just when you thought, that's probably all the good Shelby Harris sound.
No.
Oh, no, kids. there's more.
This week has been real good, you know. I got to prove to everyone I have the best hands on the team. That's nice. I've been saying that for a while now. But no, it was just, this week has just been huge, you know. It was multiple moments during the game, you know, I could just burst out in tears. I'm just like, I know it's a play I was saying, I'm literally just living my best life. I'm happy. I can't complain. I have a beautiful, healthy family. My wife is a trooper. She had a C-section and everything went great. Just, I really have been running on fumes this last day, but, you know, I'm truly blessed and I really can't complain. I'm on cloud nine.
Shelby, you, man.
For those that want to start their Shelby Harris fan club, he was a 7th-round draft pick in 2014 by the Oakland Raiders. It's his 4th season out of Illinois State.
There you go.
You do you, Shelby. Nice job, my friend.
As they always say, will it play in Peoria? That's where Illinois State is, and he is representing very well. By the way, just this little nugget here. This is the Broncos' remaining schedule. They're at 5-6. At Cincinnati, at San Francisco, Cleveland goes to Denver, at Oakland, home for the Chargers. Just throwing that out there. Denver has put together 2 quality wins the last 2 weeks at the Chargers, and then they end the Steelers' 6-game winning streak. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Well, no, not by any stretch. They're 5-6. The second wild card right now in the AFC. Both teams have 5 losses.
Correct.
So it's there for them.
It is there. Congratulations. And oh, by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers, when push comes to shove, sometimes you trust them, right? They found a way to get a win against Jacksonville when they tried like hell not to.
But then again, everybody's getting a win against Jacksonville now, aren't they?
Exactly. Just take the L's, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Take the L's. We'll get into that situation, especially what happened with the Bills a little bit later.
Wow.
Coming up, we have a huge announcement coming this way at 7 a.m. But up next, the Giants have a lesson to learn from their rivals.
Support for the Golic and Wingo Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Let's talk about buying homes for a minute. Because of rising interest rates, there's a lot of unpredictability when it comes to buying a home these days. It's causing a whole lot of anxiety with folks. Well, our friends at Quicken Loans are doing something about it. They're calling it the power buying process, and here's how it works. Quicken Loans will verify your income, assets, and credit in less than 24 hours to give you a verified approval. This gives you the strength of a cash buyer. Then once you're verified, you qualify for their all-new exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, they lock your rate for up to 90 days while you shop. Now here's the best part. If rates go up, your rate stays the same. But if rates go down, your rate also drops. You win either way. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Golic. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply. Based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data record, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
I think smoking always affected my daily life because I was a closet smoker. It really sort of controlled my entire day. My boss is the one that recommended Juul, so I decided to give it a try. You don't get any of the odor of smoking. There's no ash all over your car. I would say give it a try.
Get the flavor and satisfaction of smoking without the mess of cigarette ash or lingering odor. Switch to Juul. Check out JUUL.com/sports. If you don't smoke or vape, don't start.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
All right, Golic and Wingo with you, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. It is time for some Straight Talk. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Yes.
Point of order. 2 notes. I don't know if you mentioned this first one. I wasn't listening to you earlier, which isn't shocking. Our researcher, David Gordon, he emailed this to us. Did you see the FBI chances of making the playoffs for the Packers and the Broncos?
Did not.
Who do you think would have a better chance?
I would say Denver at this point.
Packers 15%, Broncos 10%.
Well, wow. These FPI people.
How about that?
You know what? They all live in this world.
And this other note, not to toot my own horn here, but we're talking about Shelby Harris and the defensive tackle getting the interception. And I mentioned I had 3 in my career. I had 3 in my career was 9 years, but the 3 came between 1989 and 1991. Do you realize between that time, there was only one other defensive lineman who had more interceptions than me during that time period?
What were the years again? Because I wasn't listening.
89 and 91.
89 and 91. Let me see.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Is he your teammate?
No.
Okay.
He's the only one better than me, a Hall of Famer.
How many more did he have than you?
He had 5.
Okay, 2
for
more.
the Bears.
Oh, Is it Dent?
Richard Dent.
There you go.
Wow. Richard
Sack
Dent,
man's
yes.
coming.
Yeah.
I'm the man Dent. If your quarterback's slow, it's going to get better.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying?
So as I was saying,
let's fire up that Mike Golic Hall of Fame Twitter account one last time, baby. One last time.
Give it one more shot.
So as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, it's time for Straight Talk. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
Are you saying that wasn't Straight Talk?
No, I'm saying that I just want to get to read it and make sure the advertisers are happy.
All right, there you go.
More than anything else.
Are they happy with D-line interception talk? Isn't that
I
what
would think
people are
so.
looking for?
The athletes.
Well, Shelby Harris is, yeah, absolutely. So anyway, the Giants let one get away. By the way, kudos. Got to give the Eagles all kinds of credit because they were dead and buried in this game, 19-3. They come back and storm back to win it, so give them all the credit in the world. However, the Giants did what the Giants do this season, lose games. 25-22 the final score. And after the game, a game in which there were 37 pass attempts and only 18 rushing attempts, Odell Beckham Jr. said, we didn't do what we thought we were going to do.
Honestly, that's a question for Coach. That's not really, my kind of question. I don't call the plays. I just do what I'm told to do and go out there and execute. Whenever I get the opportunity to do something, I try and make the most of it. If I don't have that many opportunities, all I can do is do what I can when I do have an opportunity. So that's more of a question for Coach. Coming in, knowing that they struggled in the secondary. Personally, I would have loved to attack them, but it wasn't in our game plan. So.
Okay, so Odell sounding a little bit like, hey, maybe I should have had more opportunities and more targets. He did have 5 catches for 85 yards, averaged 17 a catch, including a 39-yarder. Did not have a touchdown. He was targeted 9 times, though. Are you okay with Odell being targeted 9 times?
Being targeted 9 times, I think, is pretty good.
That's pretty significant, right?
The issue I may have more is your Rookie of the Year.
Correct.
In Saquon Barkley, who in the first half had 15 touches for 131 yards, 62 yards after contact, 2 touchdowns. Second half, 5 touches for 11 yards.
That's just stupid.
I mean, you know what? You do have Odell who you want to get the ball, but you got another guy. You got another guy who you can get to in 2 ways. By handing him the ball off or hitting a little flare pass to him, which he's been fantastic on. Get it to him as well. We had said this about Zeke Elliott
the Dallas
for
Cowboys.
the Cowboys, the one game we talked about. Here as well, 5 touches in the second half. That's just not enough. You got 2 guys you need to feed. 9 to 10 targets? I think I'd be satisfied if I'm a wide receiver getting that.
Well, like you said, though, it's about the timing of it, too.
Yes,
so if you've got him unhappy enough, us looking up in the second half and saying, well, Saquon wasn't getting the ball enough. Who was getting the ball in the second half going up against a beat-up Eagles defense?
Wayne Gallman.
And listen, I have actually weirdly caped for Wayne Gallman in ways that most won't in the past. Yes. One of my favorite backup running backs in the NFL. But
I'm with
that's neither here nor there. The weird part about this is this has been the story of the years. Pat Shurmur's play calling constantly being called into question, especially in a market like New York. And in this case, I don't think as much as people are going to react to it that Odell really tried to feed into that fire there. This seemed to be the same answer, albeit from a guy with a different pass that we got from Saquon, which is I don't call the plays.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not going to go in here and do Odell Beckham. What does he do? I think that's a very reasonable response. That didn't upset me. That didn't panic my oh my God, what's he talking about thing. Right? You guys are
absolutely
on board with that.
Yeah.
But the idea of play calling is interesting, and here's Pat Shurmur addressing that after the game.
I think what happened was, we had one series there where we gave it to Gallman, and he did a good job running the ball, just spell him a little bit, and then I think he had 13 rushes and he had 7. Catches, he touched the ball 20 times. And then, when we knock ourselves off with penalties and then sacks and, all that bad stuff, then you get off schedule trying to get the ball to Saquon and Odell and the guys that need to touch it. One of them was an RPO that could have been a run. Yeah, I get it. Called 3 straight passes. A couple other series, they called a couple runs. We got to execute the plays. Certainly, and move the ball, and we can't knock ourselves off by either not completing the ball or when we run the ball not getting yards. That's all. I'm not frustrated. We did not. I just mentioned it. Here's the story of the second half, especially early. We weren't making the yards we need to on the plays we called, and we had penalties that knocked us off. And so then you get away from the stuff that you certainly would like to do, and that's the deal. Forget the depleted secondary and all that. These are NFL football teams you're playing. And, we took advantage of some things, but, it doesn't make sense to throw it every down when you got a running back like Saquon as well.
Well, and it doesn't make sense to give him 5 touches in the second half.
Exactly.
There have been 2 times this year where he's had less than 20 touches. they were actually consecutive weeks. He had 16 touches against New Orleans at the end of September, and then the first week of October he had 19 touches in a loss to Carolina when they were losing a bunch in a row there. To your point, Mike, it's timing. You can sit there and add up the touches and say, well, they had 20 touches, but 11 in the first half or 20 touches, but in just 15 in the first half, just 5 in the second. To your point of timing, and because Shermer's right, depleted secondary, while, yeah, they're all pros, but still you're going to take a weakness if there is a weakness. But there is the timing of how do you not get the ball to that guy more?
Well, there's the timing of, Wayne Gallman getting a series is fine, but coming off of halftime where Saquon Barkley just had a break. Yeah. You went in for a whole halftime full of break, and you come back out with less than your best on the field at that point in time. These are decisions that are compounded certainly when you lose at the clip that they've been losing at, but I don't know, for this offense, this is what you brought him over here to be, is your offensive head coach, and a lot of questions on defense still for this team. We know they traded away a lot of their guys. There's not much of a pass rush right now, but when you're an offensive coach, you're expected to at least have that unit under control.
Look, I agree, and I said this during the Broncos game as I was watching it before he scored that touchdown in the fourth quarter. Phillip Lindsay is averaging 8.6 yards a carry. Why does he only have 9 attempts if he's averaging 8.6 yards a carry in what was a tie game? Saquon Barkley had 13 rushing attempts and averaged 7.8 yards per carry. You were up 19-11 at the half. You have the lead. You avoid sacks? Run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the ball. I mean, when you are on the road, you have the lead. You have the prohibitive rookie of the year on the offensive side in Saquon Barkley, whom you drafted second overall. You might want to feed the machine. That's all we're saying here.
Listen, I agree, but going to something I heard you say this morning, I kind of agree that Giant fans will probably be okay with this. You competed really well in this game, and you took the L and got yourself still in a decent spot for a draft pick.
Just don't get embarrassed. Just don't get embarrassed. And yesterday you weren't embarrassed. You were frustrated maybe at the end of that game, but it was a division rival in Philadelphia, defending Super Bowl champion that you almost knocked off, and then you still get one loss closer to a high.
Now remember, I said fans. I didn't say players.
Correct.
There's no player happy
or
in that
coaches.
locker room. That's exactly right. Players and coaches, do not put them in that category because we know fans can think that way. Players and coaches do not think that way.
And that is Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Coming up, no hugs for you. Really?
Dell's Cyber Week sale for small business is on. Save big with massive deals on office essentials like computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and the latest servers. Even other top brand electronics and accessories are on sale. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Quantities are limited. Dell's Small Business Technology Advisors can help you find the right tech for your business needs at Cyber Week prices. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/SB Cyber Week. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Paper's all crumpled because my dad tried to fight me during the break.
Just read.
You want more?
Oh, my God.
I will
move
end
on.
you.
I swear to God, I should get babysitting money in here.
We'll take you too, old
Shut
man.
up, Trey.
Go to your room.
Shut your mouth. Golic and Wingo brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. When a player doesn't get a contract, they hold out, right? With Straight Talk Wireless, you never have to because, well, there is no contract. They use the same exact 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Before we get into Baker Mayfield and his comments about his former coach, Cliff, if you will. Yeah, it's Mashodi.
The awkward meter is just pinned.
Yeah.
Right now. It is pinned.
Happy
pay it off.
birthday.
Pay it
Happy
off.
birthday to my wife, Chris, Mashodi. Yeah. Know what I'm saying?
No.
Huh? Mike, that's your mom talking about
I
right
kind of
now.
want to die right now.
She's Mashodi.
Junior,
that's my mom, and happy birthday to my mom, Christine Golic. I don't know what my dad is doing
birthday,
right
hon.
now.
Happy birthday
I'm
to you.
so sorry, Mom, that's the way that we chose to honor you today.
Happy birthday, Shawty. Be home soon. Love you.
Junior, you're not alone. Just want you to know that.
Oh,
right. Every bit of this is, how did we land on that as the happy birthday? What happened to the old happy birthday song?
No, I like that one. And I still have this song on my iPod.
You want to know how I know you're old? It's on his iPod. He's going around on the wheel on the iPod right there.
That was a joke.
Yeah, you sure it is.
Happy birthday. It's your mom's birthday, and you're taking us off subject.
So,
happy
taking
birthday.
us off subject.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah.
I said happy birthday to you first on First and Last this morning. I win.
Moving on.
There you go.
Glad you're with us, Golick and Wingo. Happy birthday, Chris. So the Browns did a Brown thing that they haven't done in a long time. By the way, we need to just understand what they did. They won their fourth game, okay? The three previous seasons combined, they won 4 games.
Right.
So we are trending in the right direction with Cleveland. Baker Mayfield was absolutely on fire, 19 of 26 for 258 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. They were up 28-0, I think, at one point in that game. But after the game, there was a very brief exchange between Baker Mayfield and his former head coach, Hugh Jackson, who is now an assistant for the Cincinnati Bengals. And Baker was asked why the conversation was so brief.
He said, "Good job, good game." Yeah, that was brief. I didn't feel like talking.
You or him?
Me. I don't know. Left Cleveland, goes down to Cincinnati. I don't know. It's just somebody that was in our locker room asking for us to play for him and then goes to a different team. We play twice a year. Everybody can have their spin on it, but that's how I feel.
Well, and that's great, but let's understand something. He didn't go. He was fired.
Yeah.
There is a difference here, and I think we need to just pump the brakes on that.
Baker's allowed to feel how he wants to feel. It sounds like he didn't get along with you very well.
Understandable.
And that's fine. But to give that, you could just say, maybe don't like the guy, we didn't get along, but to give that as your reasoning, listen, Baker, this is pro sports, man. It's not all touchy-feely and emotions, okay? I mean, this man got fired. What is he? Is he supposed to sit around until you feel it's okay that he goes to another team? I mean, he has used to coach there, with Marvin Lewis. He got a job. That's what pro sports is, man. That's what the business is. You lose one job, you go find another job. So while he's entitled to his feelings, the whole, he went to Cincinnati, he asks us to believe in him. I mean, listen, okay, I'm here at ESPN. I want you guys to believe in me. I'm going to work with you guys. We're going to be a great team. Tomorrow, ESPN fires me. Am I not supposed to go look for another job?
No, you have to stay in a hurt place.
Or NBC or Fox and work with people. I mean, come on.
Whoa.
I mean,
whoa.
Listen,
Whoa. Trying to tell us something?
I think Baker got caught up in a little bit of that young emotion type thing, which he is more than that's his choice. But understand the business. Yeah. Man's allowed to go get a job, okay? I mean, seriously.
We got a big announcement coming up at 7. I thought we knew what it was. Apparently not so much anymore.
Trust me, we're good there.
Yeah,
but look.
No, but you know what's interesting about this, obviously, forgetting the fact that Baker Mayfield also transferred and left Texas Tech to go to Oklahoma.
Correct.
Right inside the Big 12 and all these things.
That, by the way, is an excellent point.
Browns fans are going to love this stuff.
Yeah, of course they
are. They are.
This is endearing to the fan base, and this is all good, but you said it. This is much more indicative of, was the Browns' decision the right one to let Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley go when they did? And the answer clearly seems to be, based on this relationship, yeah.
Well, look, with Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley, Baker had 4 touchdown passes, 6 picks. Since they left, he has 9 touchdown passes and 1 interception. And Baker expounded further on what he likes now with the team and the way it is.
What it comes down to is we still have the same players. Yeah, that's what I said when everything was happening. We just had to play better. You know what? You can put your own spin on it, but we have the same players. Yeah, we have people that we believe in calling the plays now.
And that may be the most interesting thing out of all of this.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't feel, and I think a lot of the team didn't feel like the right plays were being called at the right time for the right player.
And as I said, that's fine if you didn't like what was going on. And by the way, Baker's playing incredible ball right now.
Really great.
My whole point was, you're sitting there, you're going to say you're mad at a guy for going to get another job. It was a little quicker than you wanted him to. That's the part. It's like, okay, ease up, my friend. You can not like him or the play calls, but let's remember what business we're in here.
Us knowing he maybe didn't like him, though, that was the decision we debated. Are you doing more harm than good firing Hugh Jackson in the middle of the season, another offense being thrust there on Baker? But they said, we want an environment for our rookie quarterback that's hospitable.
It's working right now.
Seems like they got what they were looking for based on what this relationship looks like now.
Consecutive wins for the first time since 2014. Again, they snapped that 25-game road losing streak, second longest streak in NFL history. The Browns, 5 for 5 in the red zone, 10 for 10 in their last 3 games. So the move was made for the right reasons because it's working, but allow a man to get a job. That's the difference. Coming up, we have a huge announcement, and apparently it doesn't involve Mike leaving.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth. Teenagers can communicate entirely in emojis.
How was the birthday party? Pizza slice, kitten, soccer ball, pineapple?
Truth. It's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at Geico.com.
What are you talking about? Paperclip, shoulder shrug, high five. wizard hat? What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.